Hey everyone, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and I'm standing outside two new construction houses in a brand new neighborhood in northern Colorado. And I wanted to show these houses because, one, I think it's a great example of why prices are so high. This here will show us why prices are so high, and it's interesting to see what new houses look like because as a remodeler, selling house flips, things like that, it can let us know what builders are doing. And a lot of times builders will use the most cost-effective fixtures and appliances, and sometimes they have new design ideas, new things that they're pushing out. And some of these builders will spend millions of dollars on research, looking into these things and seeing what works best for them. Now, like I said, this is a brand new neighborhood. As you can see, they've got a couple of streets in, but you also might notice these are not huge houses. These are not huge at all, and it may surprise you how much it costs to purchase one of these houses. Something else that's interesting about these is none of them have any basements at all. And we're in Colorado where basements are very common. They're often pretty affordable to put in, add a lot of square footage, are counted as square footage if you're ever selling them. And it really decreases the size of homes when there aren't basements around here. I know some areas basements are unheard of and you don't have them, but around here it's pretty common. More houses have basements than don't have basements. And something else you might notice too is just how they look on the outside and the design. They're not complete cookie cutter homes, but they lack eaves. The builders are definitely doing everything they can to save money. So I know a lot of people say, oh, these are cheap houses. They're not worth what they're selling them for. And you have to realize if they make them look fancier and add more features, the more stuff they do, the more expensive they will get. And there is not much building going on. So even though there's a housing shortage, we need millions of homes, we need lots of homes around us, there are very few developments like this starting up, very few homes being built, and these are actually the cheapest, most affordable homes, new homes we have seen come on the market in years and years and years. And like I said, there's a reason for it, but people want cheap houses. Sometimes this is what you get. So those are the two houses on the left we will see here in just a second. And they also have some townhomes here too as well. Not going to see those, but I'm mostly interested in the single family homes. There's lots of apartments, lots of multifamily being built right now, but very little single family. And we're going to look at the one on the right first, a 2-story with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Then we'll check out the one on the left, a ranch with 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. So the reason houses are so expensive right now is a lot of it's the cost to build. And existing houses will follow the cost to build, and the cost to repair and replace makes houses more expensive as well. So this house has, I think it's 1,400 square feet if I remember correctly, and that's on total for both floors. And it is not big, that is for sure. And a lot of people think, well, I can build cheaper, I can build easier. If builders could build cheaper and easier, they would. 100%. They like to make money. They like to build houses. And the thing is, it's so hard to build. There's development restrictions, labor costs, material costs, a lack of labor, permit issues. There's just stuff all over the place stopping building. Energy efficient requirements, and all of that makes building more expensive. There's actually areas in Colorado where you're required to put a fire sprinkler system inside any new house. Any new house, you have to put a full fire sprinkler system in. That'll add like 50 grand to the cost of a house. And then the government wonders why housing is so expensive. But yeah, it's crazy. So something else to think about this is these are model homes I'm walking through. So that's a nice stove. Those are nice appliances. Those aren't included in their base price, right? A lot of extras on some of these model homes that won't be on the base price of what you're getting when it's listed. So the base price for this 2-story is $406,000. And something else to consider too is Colorado, especially northern Colorado, has very, very expensive water. So it might cost $70,000 to $80,000 for a water tap here. And that's a direct cost onto your build. Makes things very expensive, very pricey. So there are some builders who kind of get around that with metro districts and kind of sharing the water costs through HOA fees and different taxes and things. But it still is, you're going to pay for it one way or another, and that just comes from a severe lack of water in our area. So that was the main floor. That was it. And then here is upstairs, which has 3 bedrooms. No, this one has 3 bathrooms. I'm mistaken. Sorry. There's a half bath on the main floor, then 2 bathrooms up here. I do have my wide angle lens on, so these rooms might appear bigger than they are, but they're not tiny, but they're definitely not big either. And if I take my wide angle lens off, it makes them look really, really small. It's hard to see. So I don't think either option is completely indicative of what reality looks like. And those vents between the halls and rooms are interesting. You see those on mobile homes a lot. Not saying that's what this is. It's not. But kind of helps airflow. But each room does have a heating vent, all of that. So there's your bathroom. It's fine. It's nice. And a lot of people will kind of look at our flips and the properties we do and be like, why didn't you put a tile surround in? Why didn't you spend extra money doing this and that? Because you won't get your money back when you do that. If you can put a solid surround in, a prefab surround, it's going to be so much cheaper and really not take away from the value at all in a house in most cases. In fact, a lot of people like the solid surround because it's easier to clean. Here's your master. Again, not real big, but you also have to remember people today are used to much bigger, nicer houses than they were in the past. So when you saw small tract homes being built in the 60s and 70s, a lot of those didn't even have master baths. A lot of them had 12 by 13 or 12 by 12 master bedrooms. A lot of them had 1-car garages. So if you want cheap houses, you kind of got to go to cheap house designs with small rooms, small square footage, nothing fancy, no master bath, just a shower. So there's a trade-off between expensive, fancy houses and affordable houses. And you can see that with these builders. They have definitely tried to make these as cheap as possible. And while they still seem expensive to many people, I'm sure, I bet you they're not making that much money per deal because all the costs to build are so much. So here's the ranch house next door. And this one, if you thought the other one was small and tight, just wait till you see this one. I think it has less than 1,000 square feet, no basement. Like I said, houses like that were actually not that uncommon back in the 60s, 70s. Now, you never, ever see houses this small. But, like I said, this is my wide-angle lens. This is the kitchen. That's your dining room. And this is your living room. There is not much to it. So I kind of wonder if they just overdid it. There's my normal angle lens. It kind of shows a little bit more of what it is. But the kitchen is pretty large for a house this size. I almost wonder if I would have preferred a smaller kitchen and more living space. Yeah, kitchens are nice, but in a small house, you've got to make some sacrifices somewhere. And that's a huge pantry for a house this small as well, which again is nice, but I think that might be bigger than the master closet, which we'll show you here in just a second. So again, this one you can see doesn't have quite as fancy appliances. And again, this one is $361,000, I believe. But again, it probably has some extras, some upgrades in here that might make it more expensive after those are factored in. Got some good staging. They do that. And the builders use some tricks. We don't show you the garages because they're using them for sales and meetings. They do some tricks in here to make them seem bigger too, which we don't do in our flips. But we'll show you here. Again, bath surround, no tile. But it's a nice surround. Fixtures are decent, nothing fancy. Again, decent stuff, but it's not, going to break the bank too much. So see if you can notice what they do here, and then I'll tell you in just a couple of minutes. There's a closet. Definitely don't want to waste space on closets in this house. Here's the second bedroom. There's only 2 bedrooms here. This is one of them. And notice they didn't even put a bed in here because I think it would have made it look so small. But they do have a desk and like a little couch thing. Not a bad sized closet. Like I said, their staging is pretty good. So they are smart there. And you can follow builders too. Builders know staging helps sell homes. Yards aren't crazy small. They're not horrible, but they're not huge either. If you want a fence, I'm sure that's extra. Then you've got your washer and dryer up here because there's no basement. You can't put them in garages in Colorado, so that's where they are. Again, see if you can notice what they did. They took the doors off. So they took the doors off the bedrooms so that it would seem bigger and you don't have your door in the way. This isn't the only builder I've seen do that. I've seen quite a few do that. And it just gives you the impression there's more room than there is because doors, open or shut, especially open, can take up quite a bit of space. So here's your master. And then again, master bathroom, no tub, just a shower. and it's decent though. It's decent sized shower. Has a little bit of upgrades in the surround with some shelves and different stuff. No fancy faucets, anything like that. Lights aren't fancy. Pretty basic stuff. But again, that's what makes it somewhat affordable. And then here we'll have the closet, which again is not going to win any awards for biggest closet in the world, but that's what you get with smaller homes. So that's it. That's the house. There's nothing more to it. And that's what you get right now in Northern Colorado for $361,000 and $406 for the larger two-story. And like I said, these are some of the most affordable new construction houses in the entire area. In fact, maybe we should take a peek at some of the other new construction homes, and we will show you how much those cost for slightly bigger, fancier properties. Okay, now you can see here's kind of the closest bigger house. It's 1,600 square feet on one floor, $445,000, no basement again. Again, you can see this one has way less going on for it than the other one, but houses are expensive. That was under contract, 1,400 square feet with a basement, $445,000. Not bad, right? But the bigger you get, oh, there's one. Oh, this is a brand new subdivision they're just coming on too in Greeley, 1,774 square feet, no basement, $450,000. Now, to compare this with, existing houses, we could buy a 5-bedroom, 3-bath home with 1,200 square feet, finished basement, 2-car garage. It's built in the 70s or 80s, probably for $425,000 in that price range, in decent shape, maybe even a little less. So when you get a new house, you're usually paying much more. You're not getting a fence, you're not getting a yard, you're not getting a lot of those extras, but you're paying for the newness of it. And like I said, the higher prices for new houses go up, the more it brings along the rest of the market with it. And when there's not enough building going on for new homes, the existing homes, there's more buyers fighting over those. Those are just going to keep rising in price until they get to a kind of an equilibrium with new houses and where it makes sense to start building new houses again. So if that equilibrium was lower, if that cost to build was lower and it was easier to build, the existing houses would hit that ceiling and they just build new houses, and we kind of flatten out that curve of where it's at. But when the cost to build keeps going up, that's what brings the whole market up with it and allows prices to just keep rising so fast. So the best way to make houses more affordable is to make it easier to build, more affordable to build, and that's what they did in the past after the Great Depression, when there's a massive shortage of homes because nobody was building because the market was so bad. The government came in, created FHA, and they gave incentives to builders, low interest rates. They even gave them plans, showed them the most efficient houses to build, helped them build more houses. So that's how you create more housing, make housing more affordable, is you make it easier to build. But it's kind of easy to see with these. This is why prices keep going up, because it's so expensive to build these really small houses. And this is also why you see such a huge difference in prices across the country. You could go to the Midwest and maybe prices are $200,000 or $250,000. That's because you can build these houses for $200,000 or $250,000. They have lower costs of water, maybe labor is less expensive, maybe development is much easier, they don't have as strict requirements on energy efficiencies, things like that. And I'm not saying it's bad to be energy efficient. I'm not saying it's bad to have, HOAs and building codes and things like that. But the stricter those are, the more expensive prices are. You can't argue that, and we see that over and over again. Usually the places with the most strict building codes, the hardest development laws, are the ones with the most expensive prices. The ones with the least amount of building codes, the easiest to develop in, have the lowest prices, because the cost to build is what kind of determines what the overall market price will be. So we'll see what happens in this neighborhood. They've said they've got a number of houses sold already in that price point. I believe it, because there's very few homes for sale under $400,000, even existing homes. And the cost of new houses just keeps going up higher and higher. There you go. There's a 2,200 square foot, 2-story, no basement, almost, not quite $500,000, and stuff gets more and more expensive, all the way up to $2.4 million. I think that one's been for sale for quite a while, though. So that's a look at some of the new houses around here. A little bit of insights into building new houses and the difficulty that comes with it. I mean, it can take years and years to get these developments to the point where they can build from the point of buying them. So that's another thing you have to consider. All that time it takes to develop that land, that money put into it, that infrastructure, all gets put back into the houses and lot costs and all of that. And people have to pay those because it costs all that money to do that development. All right, love to hear what you think. We'll be back with more videos on our flips, rentals, businesses, laundromats, all that stuff coming up soon.